PNG languages are dying, and here's why. So recently I was up in the village, and I went up there to see my grandmother, and I was walking around, meeting family, relatives, and whatnot, and I came across an older guy from our community, and we got to talking, and we were talking about our life, and we're catching up and whatnot, and the way he spoke to me in our language was, it was different. It was deep, it was fluent, confident, and it was effortless. He wasn't searching for words, or he wasn't mixing English. He wasn't switching to talk Pisin. He was just speaking pure Imbongo talk plus. So I realized something in that moment. I realized that, I couldn't keep up. I was like, I, how am I gonna respond to that? And yeah, I understood him. I understood what he was saying. I understood what he meant and whatnot. But I couldn't speak the way he spoke, because when I tried to answer, when I tried to answer his questions, I had to mix it up and whatnot. And I tried to avoid certain phrases that I didn't really get the meaning of. And I felt envious in a way, like not a bad envious, but a good envious, because like I wish I could speak like that. Like I was like, I should speak that way. I should, man, that is amazing. Like that is really really good. So on the way home, I kept thinking like, how did I get here? How did I grow up in this culture, but not fully into my language, because that's who I am. And and then I started to think bigger, and maybe it's not just me. Maybe it's happening everywhere. Because when I ask my friends, like, yo, do you know your language? Like, can you speak it fluently? And they're like, yeah, I can understand stuff, but me to like respond in that language, I cannot. And I'm in the same shoe too. So like, I did some research, and I found out that across Papua New Guinea, our languages are dying slowly. They are slowly dying out because, according to SIL International through Ethnologue, PNG has around 840 languages, more than any country in the world. Because we're known as the most diverse country in the world, and but many of those languages are dying out. They are endangered too. When I found out, and then when I think about that older man from my village, I realized something. You know, when his generation is gone, who will continue speaking that language? Speaking our language, who will continue on? You know, preserving and protecting, and and promoting this language. And then I realized, it's up to me. It's up to people my age, people younger than me, people the next generation. It's up to us. It's our duty, because to preserve that, to protect and promote that, because like we don't hate our culture. We don't. It's not that we don't care about our culture. It's just something that we forgot. We got too busy with our lives, and we got too busy with westernization, and we forgot to preserve who we are. And you know yeah. So another thing is like urban migration. Like when we my parents moved to town, and they raised all of us in town. We were all born in the city and whatnot. And that's a place where English becomes dominant, and talk piece in English becomes dominant and common. And it's like talk plus is just occasional, like when we have a family boom, or when the clan or a tribe get together. That's when like people start to speak the native language, our native language. And that's like rare. We rarely hang out with family and friends, and because of that, it started to slowly being forgotten by our generation. And one thing too, like people get embarrassed when our parents speak to us in our native language. Like I have this cousin who we were at Gordon's, and we were at the market, and she was like, my auntie was speaking to her in our language, and she was like, yo, hey, stop, stop talking to me like in that language, like, I don't want people to think that I'm from the village, like, like, yo, that's who we are. Like, that's like we all came from the village. But yeah, like people think that, I mean, she's like one of the person that think that, you know, we sound backward, like speaking language is backward and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, all of us used to think like that. But then, like, as you get older, you start to realize that that's a really important thing in our lives, because if we don't like if we don't practice it and we don't use it every day, like it's gonna fade away. And if our generation doesn't do that, then it will fade with our generation, and the next generation won't even know anything about it. And to top it off, our languages don't die because of outsiders. They don't die because of outside pressure or outside influence. They die when we stop speaking them. They die when we stop, making them our priority. They die when we stop being who we are.